Okay, can you see the PDF file?
Yes, Dad.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Basically, for test, I will use UFuture as the medium. I will post assessment questions, and then you can download the question in PDF format. So this is the questions for last semester, and then you will write answer on your answer sheet, paper sendiri ya. And then you take photo of your answer, save it as code which test and your metric number in PDF format, and then submit your answer in UFuture. So those are the plan. Okay. So if you have problem in whether you don't have any scanner, so you just take photo and then insert in Microsoft Word and save it as PDF. Okay. Is it clear? It is handwritten. Your answer is handwritten. I will allocate some time. For example, there the duration is 1.5 hours. The next half an hour, I will check your submission, whether your file is clear or not, whether I can read your handwriting or not. Okay. If okay, then okay lah. If not, within the next half an hour tu, you can resubmit. Kalau ada problem sangat, you can submit it through WhatsApp or email. But I prefer for you to submit it in the UFuture. Yang mana yang ada problem sahaja, submit it through WhatsApp or email. Okay, so that is the test. Okay, so this is the test for last semester. Okay, so the questions, as you can see, test. Okay. Explain briefly the implication of transactions that involve riba in conventional financial institution for an individual. Okay, anyone would like to what is the implications that you think might happen for that individual? Anyone? Apa implication dia? So you can see that the question is, you cannot simply get the answer from the slides that I've shared with you. So you need to understand why riba is prohibited for the institution and for the individual. Okay. And what is the implication? Can you think of any implication? Anyone? Kalau you involved with riba, what happened?
It will burden the individual.
Need to pay excessive interest. and then the individual will have difficulty in paying loan.
Okay. Explain briefly the implication of doing transactions that involve riba for an individual. Okay. Pressure for the individual to pay. What else? Tadi apa tadi?
Need to pay excessive interest, and then the individual will have difficulty in paying loan.
Okay. Excessive amount that has to be paid by an individual. What else? Is there any punishment for those who get involved with riba?
The individual will need to pay penalty fee if there is default in the loan.
Okay. That one is extra amount paid lah kan. Sama ada it is for the interest or for the penalty. Apart from that, apart from any extra payment, anything stated in Al-Quran, for example?
Punishment in hereafter.
Sorry? Punishment in the hereafter, okay. What else?
Will result in negative growth.
Okay. Implication for the individual, they have to pay more. Pressure, okay. Punishment in the hereafter. Life is not blessed by God. Prayers not answered. Difficult to get guidance from Allah, okay. Punishment from Allah is the one you mentioned just now. Punishment in the hereafter. Selfish individual might lead to selfish individual. Okay, so boleh jadi apa-apa lah. Explain how Islamic finance is in line with the effort of achieving maqasid syariah. What is maqasid syariah? The protections of what? Implication, a protection of?
Maslahah.
Protection of maslahah, to protect public interest, to avoid harm. Okay. So how actually Islamic finance is in line to protect public interest, for example? Macam mana?
Action and transaction aligned with Quran and Sunnah.
Okay. The transactions and operation in line with Al-Quran and Sunnah, itu macam too general, but you can be more specific, which is to avoid riba, gharar, maisir, or any prohibited activities. Okay. And then help the users of the customer to make Sharia compliant decision. Okay. For A and B, any question? Okay.
Okay, madam.
Okay, madam.
Okay. And then C. You saw your friend new post in the Facebook as shown below. I am not sure about Islamic Bank being Sharia compliant. Convince me, please. Write an appropriate comment to convince her that Islamic Bank comply with Sharia. How do you convince your friends that Islamic Bank ni actually comply with Sharia? Ada orang cakap, betul ke Islamic Bank ni comply with Syariah? You nak cakap apa? Betul sebab
Transaction does not involve riba, garam, maisin.
okay, transaction does not involve any riba, garam, maisin as we can say as stated in the annual report ke or stated in the website of the Islamic Bank ke. What actually the difference between the organizational structure in Islamic Bank as compared to conventional bank?
Madam, can we answer like Islamic Bank are monitored by AUD and IFSB?
They are not being monitored by IFE. They are being monitored by or the regulatory body Bank Negara Malaysia and SC, Securities Commission. Okay. So how actually Bank Negara Malaysia monitor Islamic Bank is by having Sharia Advisory Council in the Bank Negara Malaysia. Okay. And for the institution, they have Sharia committee, 2-tier. Okay. So Islamic Bank comply with Sharia. How? By having a 2-tier Sharia compliant measures. Okay. From Sharia Advisory Council in Bank Negara Malaysia and Sharia Committee in that individual bank. Okay, so indirectly you inform or you inform your friend that about how actually Islamic Bank want to ensure Sharia compliance of their institution. Okay. What else? Or you can say if you want to relate to IOFI, I don't think so that you can relate to IOFI because Malaysian Islamic banking institution does not mandatory to comply with IOFI standard. So how actually you want to convince again? Anything else?
Islamic product offered by the financial institution.
Okay, the product offered by Islamic bank is Sharia compliant. For example, so you can list out for example, product that use specific Sharia contract. For example, murabahah, mudarabah, and so on. Okay. Okay, and then a website shows news about Islamic banking continues to expand as shown below. Okay. Recommend 3 ways on how Islamic banking can sustain for a long time. Okay. So, in order for you to answer these questions, you can relate to the what are the characteristics of Islamic banking. So they have to maintain those characteristics in order for them to sustain. Because by having those characteristics might be the factor why a customer choose to do business with Islamic banking. What are the characteristics of Islamic bank?
Promote mutual risk.
Promote
Mutual risk sharing.
profit sharing. Okay, promote profit sharing, a brotherhood. You boleh tengok the difference between Islamic banking and conventional banking. Macam mana lagi cara untuk Islamic banking sustain?
Improve awareness among the people.
Awareness on the Islamic banking, promotion, good service pun boleh. To gain competitive advantage by having attractive product, support by the government. You can also relate that to prerequisite of Islamic finance development. Apa tu? Apa dia prerequisite tu? From the slide ada prerequisite. Anyone? Requisite of the Islamic financial system. First, a strong risk management practice, effective regulation, sound corporate and Sharia governance, supportive legal framework, robust accounting disclosure and taxation regime. Yang tu pun kita boleh gunakan untuk menjawab soalan ni. Okay.
Okay, madam.
Okay. So the informations that you have, you can use all the informations that you have to answer these questions. And there is no direct questions. Now I tak directly ask, okay, what are the requisite of the Islamic financial system? I tak tanya dia directly macam tu lah. And your answer might be different from your friend's answer, but might get the same marks. Okay.
Madam,
Yes.
dia nak 3 ways kan, tapi markah 10 mark. Maksudnya kena provide example ke? Ke explanation je?
Explanation. Dia ada, okay, katakan 3 ways. Maksudnya 1 point tu 3 marks kan? So kalau 3 marks, in order for you to get 3 marks, so the explanation tu bukanlah in just 1 sentence, at least 3 sentences. So maybe in order for you to get the enough explanation tu, you might need to include example.
Okay, madam.
Okay. And then class 1 lah for good answer. Okay, and then when you are required to provide 3, at least you mention firstly, secondly, third, ataupun just 1, 2, 3. Yeah? Okay. And then explain how Muslim accountant work can be made as ibadah to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
Muslim accountants should be honest and transparent when conducting their tasks. It is to ensure there is no injustice and oppressive to another party.
Okay? Yes? Boleh?
Muslim accountants should obey their leader and superior order as long as it is not contradict with Al-Quran and As-Sunnah.
Okay? Boleh?
Carry duty with a sincere intention of seeking the pleasure of God, of Allah.
Okay? Boleh? To gain Allah blessing, boleh? We can also include work can be made into ibadah if there is a sincere intention. Ya. Kita niat tu yang kita kerja tu adalah untuk adalah sebagai ibadah. So the criteria, one of the criteria is sincere intention. Okay, of seeking the pleasure of God, then the work can be considered as ibadah. And then the task, whatever task that performed by the accountant must be carried out in line with Islamic principles. Okay. As such, from Islamic perspective, kalau yang cerita Robin Hood tu, that robbing the rich, giving to the poor is unacceptable lah. Okay. So, any problem with A?
No.
Okay. And then discuss your opinion whether there is a future for Islamic accounting. First, you need to know what is Islamic accounting. So Islamic accounting relate to the transactions that, recording transactions that do not involve with riba, gharar, maisir. So do you think there is a future for Islamic accounting? Anyone?
Nak try, madam.
Okay.
Yes, there is a future for Islamic accounting. As of now, there are a significant number of global Muslim population. Thus, there is a demand for Islamic accounting. Furthermore, many conventional banks are interested in Islamic accounting and offer Islamic financial services to their customers.
Okay. Population, yes. Demand, yes. Offered by conventional bank, you need to add conventional bank offer Islamic banking product through window or through their Islamic banking subsidiary. You kena tambah lah. You tak boleh you tak boleh cakap conventional bank offer dia macam dia interested to offer the same product kan. Itu yang you cakap tadi kan. But then I think you need to add through Islamic banking window or subsidiary. Because they have to have a proper governance in order to ensure Syariah compliance.
Madam, kalau macam contoh, kalau macam saya tak mention lah yang window dengan subsidiary tu, kalau saya mention, macam saya bagi example, contoh HSB Citigroup offered Islamic financial services through their entity macam Nestle, Shell, sebab ni saya macam search dekat internet pasal dia ada maklumat dia macam
Boleh. HSBC tu dia offer HSBC Islamic ke ataupun HSBC tu?
Islamic product.
Yelah, Islamic product di offer by its subsidiary ke ataupun apa? Itulah, kalau you want to mention it offered by conventional, dia kalau konvensional dia boleh offer sama ada melalui window ataupun melalui Islamic banking subsidiary. Okay, kalau conventional bank dia akan offer through that medium lah. Kalau dia sendiri yang offer tanpa ada proper governance to ensure syariah compliant, boleh ke? I don't think so.
Okay, madam, faham. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam, kita cakap since Islamic product are being produced based on Sharia, it could be relevant for any period.
Okay, boleh. You can also add that non-Muslim also can be the customers for Islamic banking product. It is open for Muslim and non-Muslim, so wider market lah for Islamic banking product, Islamic for Syariah compliant product. Okay. And then you can also add the benefit of not having riba. Okay. Maybe you can say the avoidance of riba can comes with benefit. For example, there is no discrimination. Okay. Bolehlah juga ya. Okay ke B? Can we move on to C?
Boleh, madam.
Boleh, madam.
So develop the objective of accounting Islamic financial institution for economic development. Yeah. Discuss the objective of accounting. Okay.
The objective of accounting of Islamic finance institution is to provide a financial report that have useful and transparent information to help in making decision.
Okay, boleh?
To ensure that the entity declare all their income and expense so that the entity, the eligible paying business zakat, can perform their duty as Muslim. Okay, yes. So basically, the objective of accounting for Islamic financial institution, from the perspective of customer, to help them to make decision which is Sharia compliant, and then from the perspective of institution to ensure that the company comply with Sharia, with prohibitions of riba, ghara, maisir and so on. The one that I mentioned now is actually same point lah as what you mentioned just now. Okay. Okay, anything else? The objective of accounting? To provide relevant information that can help the users of information to make Sharia compliant decision. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, and then the IOFI Code of Ethics for Islamic finance professionals states that IOFI ethical virtue include taqwa, tawakkul, sidik, amanah, quwwah, and tawasi bil haq. Suggest which ethical virtue in IOFI Code of Ethics that Muslim professionals should apply when being forced to manipulate accounting data in order to show good company's performance, even though the actual data states otherwise.
Madam,
Yes.
kalau soalan yang macam ni, kita macam kena pilih satu je ke antara amanah takwa dengan kuah ke semua tu?
Suggest which ethical virtue tu maksudnya suggest yang mana-mana lah. Okay. Katakan you nak ambil satu saja, your explanation tu mesti sufficient lah for 10 marks tu. Kalau you ambil dua, similar lah, mungkin explanation dia tak sepanjang lah kalau you pilih satu saja. Faham tak?
Faham.
Sebab I tak cakap berapa banyak kan. So ada student yang dia jawab semua sekali, dia setiap satu tu boleh. Tapi ada yang sebab dia kat situ suggest which ethical virtue. So let's choose one. Which one is the most suitable, do you think?
Sid, integrity.
Integrity, sidik, boleh? So you need to refer to the code of ethics tu. I dah bagi dah copy kan. So sidik tu, what is the meaning? So macam mana by applying sidik tu can help the Muslim professional in dealing with this situation that when he's being forced to manipulate accounting data. Okay.
Kita provide meaning untuk perkataan tu pun ada mark jugalah madam.
Sebenarnya tidak, tapi sebab kalau you apply that to that situation tu, dia akan dapat markah lah.
Okay. Maksudnya tak payah direct definition dia lah kan?
Okay. For example, I ambil sini yang I ada contoh ni adalah amanah. Okay. Mungkin you akan define amanah training financial agent. The Islamic, mungkin you define amanah, okay, trustworthy. So Islamic finance professionals should not violate amanah. For example, in this situation that manipulate accounting data because the information will be used by the users of information will be inaccurate and lead to will affect their decision making lah. Will affect the users of information decision making process. Okay. And then mungkin you akan terangkan juga by being amanah, what is the benefit. Okay. Ada dua explanation yang you boleh masukkan di sini. For example, amanah. So you terangkan the negative implication if amanah is not being practiced by the Muslim professional. Okay, the implication. And then the next one is the benefit of practicing amanah. Okay, kalau the implication might be inaccurate information, okay, So the benefit might be negative might be inaccurate information, mislead stakeholder about the performance. Kalau the benefit help the users of information to make accurate decision, macam tu lah. Okay.
Okay, madam.
Any question? So kalau you tengok soalan ni macam ni lah, simple. Soalan dia simple tapi you need to, when you read the questions tu, you kena fikir dulu to plan your answer. Okay. This one is November 2020. I will share with you the discussion on this question. I will share with you the video. Sebab I takut nanti we spend too much time on this. But then this one I think I shared with you in the your feature. Your uncle Pak Angah come to visit you and ask about Islamic finance. He says that personal loan in conventional bank is similar to personal financing Islamic bank, as both charges extra for the cash given. Explain briefly to him whether you agree with his statement. You agree or disagree, 1 mark. And then the justification on your justifications lah on your answer, whether you agree or disagree. So the difference amount for conventional bank is interest, for the Islamic bank is profit. Itu satu, the difference. And then conventional bank involve riba, which cannot be practiced by Islamic bank, and that's why they will use certain syariah contract, for example murabahah, which is a profit cost plus markup transactions. Okay. Explain 2 ways on how Islamic banking institution gain competitive advantage in Malaysian dual banking system. You need to know what is Malaysian dual banking system. It means conventional bank operates in parallel with Islamic banking. So macam mana Islamic bank ni compete dengan conventional bank? Maybe there is a restriction of syariah stringency. Yang mana mungkin kalau conventional bank dia tak take that into consideration, so they can offer a very attractive product. However, for Islamic banking, there is certain conditions that they need to comply with. So how actually they want to compete? This one can be anything. For example, customer service, promotion, attractive product, and so on. This one, elaborate whether you agree that Islamic banking is for everyone. Do you agree? It is for everyone?
Yes, agree.
Yes, agree.
So elaborate.
Kalau yang kat sini kita mention benefit Islamic banking, boleh madam?
Boleh? Boleh juga you inform that there is no conditions that Islamic banking product can only be purchased by Muslim. Okay. Ada lagi tak kenapa you agree that Islamic banking is for everyone? And then everyone tu, if you look at the diagram tu, it shows own a property, buy a vehicle, apply for personal financing, subscribe to SB financing for investment, manage my wealth, contribute to community. maybe everyone here it is not about whether it is for Muslim and non-Muslim, but for everyone with different needs. Ada yang nak beli rumah, ada yang nak beli kereta, or poor people or rich people, so everyone. Okay, so when you include the advantage or the good side of Islamic banking, yes, you can, boleh lah. Or you can mention about financial inclusive. Poor people also can apply for any product. Okay. If you have any questions, you boleh tanya dia. Sebab kita ni ramai kan, jangan segan. You saw your friend new post in the Facebook as shown below. I don't have enough money to buy a car. How do I avoid interest and still fulfill my short-term financing requirement? Suggest what is appropriate comment to help her solve the problem. Apa you rasa nak response to the post?
Kita suggestkan dia untuk ambil murabahah.
Murabahah is syariah contract. You can suggest her to choose product or vehicle financing product in Islamic banking that use murabahah. Bukannya you suggest the syariah contract tu. Okay. Markahnya 10. What else? What else?
Kalau kita explain macam mana murabahah tu function.
Boleh, tapi the explanation tu dia tak cover semua 10 markah lah. Unless the question asks you to explain murabahah tu.
Okay, madam.
Apa lagi yang you boleh terangkan? Okay, I tak cukup duit lah, I nak buat loan. Tapi I tak nak involve dengan riba. So macam mana? Anyone else?
Doctor, can we
Yes?
can we tell her the consequences if taking the conventional and Islamic vehicle financing?
You can, but I think here she already realized that. That's why she's asking, how do I avoid interest and still fulfill my short-term financing requirement? Kan?
If suggest she to take financing from Islamic banking?
Yes. Okay. Kalau you suggest that, so dia tanya how? You nak cakap macam mana? how actually I want to purchase product for Islamic banking?
Meaning that we need to tell her the procedure.
Yes, but you do not know the procedure kan? But you can say, you can choose Islamic banking because Islamic banking prohibits riba. Do not involve, their transactions do not involve any interest. So you can choose many Islamic bank in Malaysia that offer vehicle financing product. For example, kan kita dah belajar pasal Islamic bank kan? Bank Islam Malaysia Berhad, the full-fledged Islamic bank, or Maybank, Islamic banking subsidiary. You can go to the website and find out whether they have a Syariah committee that ensure Syariah compliance. You akan terangkan macam tu lah. Check the product offered. The product offered will not involve in riba if they apply Syariah contract. Macam tu lah. Or you can go to the Islamic banking and look at their brochure. Macam tu lah. You inform her about the existing of Islamic banking in Malaysia. And a bit about why Islamic banking is considered an institution which, if you be the customer, you can avoid riba or interest. Okay. Last semester, there were students that explain about murabahah and so on. Tapi yang tu I bagi marks, tapi even if it is a long explanation about murabahah, you will not get 10 marks lah sebab macam I mention tadi lah. Okay. Yes, anyone would like to respond?
Madam, if I say like she can seek for consultation from the Islamic banking?
Boleh? Boleh? So there are 10 marks, so you plan your answer accordingly. And I hope that if your answers is long, please write by paragraph. Letak paragraf dengan kemas lah. Kalau tidak, susah nak baca jawapan. Okay, and then here, 2 ways on how Muslim accountant practice their faith in performing their role and responsibility as accountant, Islamic financial institution. Discuss 2 expectation. Okay, 2 ways on how Muslims practice their faith in performing. Yang ni you boleh kaitkan dengan being amanah, being integrity tadilah. Okay. Yang macam yang stated by IFE Code of Ethics tadi. 2 expectation of Muslim customer, of course, transparency, accuracy. Okay. Sharia scholars determine ruling on ethics based on Al-Quran and Sunnah. Discuss. So you can explain about why Sharia scholar determine ruling on ethics based on Al-Quran and Sunnah, because Al-Quran and Sunnah is the primary sources. What is Al-Quran? What is As-Sunnah? Okay. And how actually by determining rulings based on Al-Quran and Sunnah help to ensure compliance or help to ensure ethical practices by, here is the Muslim accountants. Recommend 2 ways on how Islamic financial institution can help the development of Malaysian economic condition. Ini macam mana? How actually they can help the development of Malaysian economic condition? Anyone?
Islamic institution can attract Muslim Muslim attention to involve in investment.
Okay. Syariah compliant investment by offering business financing to help them to set up business. Okay. And to provide various product or financing product for Muslims. Okay. Malaysian economic conditions. Prohibitions of riba pun boleh juga.
Kalau mention pasal Muslim bayar zakat, madam? Maksudnya dengan bayar zakat tu, dia macam spesifik sangat untuk Muslim je.
Tapi bank tidak bayarkan zakat untuk customer kan? Customer bayar sendiri kan?
Tak.
Tapi kalau you nak cakap bank tu sendiri yang bayar zakat dan zakat tu boleh help development of nation economic condition, boleh lah.
Okay, madam.
Ataupun you boleh sebut sekarang ni the development of Islamic social finance, the microfinance, wakaf. Now Islamic banking, Islamic financial institutions involve greatly in Islamic social finance. So by having that, they can help in development of nation economic condition. For example, macam tadi saya sebut wakaf, dia ada example of wakaf, for example, set up of school, dialysis center, dan sebagainya lah. You can go through their website to check on what project that can be done using the wakaf fund. Okay. So I think you can get an idea of what will be the test questions. Soalan tu maybe kalau you tengok tu dia macam mudah saja, but then you need to apply with all the knowledge that you have about Islamic financial institutions, about what is Islamic banking, the difference between Islamic banking and conventional banking, and prohibited elements in Islamic banking, and then ethics, code of ethics. Any question?
Doctor.
Okay. Yes.
If the question not mentioned, we need to state 1 or 2. So the point for the answer for that question, we just assume 2 or 3 depending on the mark given.
Okay, if the question silence on how many answers, how many points that is required, as I mentioned just now, look at the marks given, the mark allocated for each question. If it is 5 marks, kalau minta 2, you can estimate one point carry or 2.5 marks. Kalau dia tak mention, your explanation tu must be sufficient for 5 marks. At least 5 sentences ke? Kalau you buat explanation tu hanya 1 sentence, macam mana I nak bagi 5? Bukan number of sentence, actually point yang ada dalam you punya explanation tu. Is it clear?
Yes, Doctor. Clear.
Okay. Sekejap ya, ada tak I contoh?
Madam nak tanya. Kalau yang contoh soalan A tu dia minta 2 ways on how Muslim tu, tapi kita bagi 3 jawapan. Poin yang ketiga tu akan terbatal ke atau akan disemak juga?
Saya ambil 2 yang pertama.
Okay, Madam. Thank you.
You janganlah bagi banyak-banyak and ask me to choose the best. Madam, please choose the best too. You faham tak maksud I?
Faham.
Okay, nanti I share with you if I have it with me here. Okay. Today, 3, 6, sekejap. Okay. Sembilan tiga. Ini what do? Oh, okay. Ini soalan yang ni. Apa lah ni? Ini adalah jawapan kepada ethics tadi. Kalau tengok this student, dia letak 3, 4 ni. Macam tadi siapa yang tanya? Nak minta semua sekali ke atau satu kan yang ni? Sidik, takwa kan? Kalau macam ni dia letak satu-satu. Muslim should fear Allah, okay? And then should not confine to Allah. Kenapa tak I punya mask ni? Okay. Letak satu-satu. Integrity, amanah. Okay. Ada tak yang buat satu saja jawapan? Ini pun dia letak semua ya. When facing a situation whereby the professional is being forced to manipulate the accounting data the ethical value that is involved is integrity. Islam encourages people to perform integrity in their daily life. The duty of an accountant is to be responsible to the data that will be presented in financial report. Therefore, Muslim accountant need to have integrity by not follow any demand for manipulation on account. Muslim knows that the duty of an accountant is amanah given by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Every action will be accountable in front of Allah. Taqwa also one of the ethical value need as an accountant. Even though there is no one around to witness our wrongdoing, but Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala knows everything. Taqwa is the invisible barrier for Muslim to act recklessly. Muslim also need a strength to tell the truth, to fight against any wrongdoing. Without that, people might fall to the evil. Macam tu lah. So it okay. Kalau you tengok ini dia sebut macam semua kan. Any question? Ni I tunjuk tu yang dapat markah penuh lah. Any question? If not, we can take a break and continue with the third chapter. Okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay, madam.
Sure, madam.
Okay. I've shared already the question, right? You have the question? Okay. So maybe you have gone through the question, so when I explain this to you, maybe tak sempat habis, but if you have any questions with regard to the project, please ask. Kat sini hujan, tak tahulah, mungkin line my internet line ni. Okay. Mungkin problem sikit, dia slow. Semua dah slow. Okay. This is the important chapter because in order for you to understand more on governance and risk and audit, you need to understand what is Sharia contract and the operations. Yeah? Okay, I've make the presentation or break down the presentation in 4 parts: introduction, exchange-based, partnership, and sukuk. So the contract can be classified into exchange-based and partnership. So that's why I break it down into exchange-based and partnership. However, there are some Sharia contract that is not under those category, but still being mentioned because in Islamic banking product, they normally combine more than one Sharia contract in one product. Okay. So the Sharia contract, there are 3 essential elements which are form of contract. The expression made by parties to declare their inner will to undertake a contract and bound to the application to the obligations, offer and acceptance. Yeah? I sell this book for 20 ringgit versus I bought it from you for 20 ringgit. Kena clearly stated yang you nak jual apa, buku ke? So I sell this book for 20 ringgit instead of what? Correspondence of acceptance, correspond to what has been offered. continuity of offer, the same session. Okay. Mesti ada ijab and qabul. And then the subject matter of the contract, the existence of the subject matter. Okay, for example, not medical service to dead people, tak boleh lah sebab it is impossible. Or the maintenance for damaged car yang total loss punya tu, so it is difficult to quantify. And then the elements under subject matter must be precise. If you want to sell a car, what type of car, what color, and so on. Okay. And certainty of delivery. It is not sale of fish in the sea or runaway camel. If you want to sell produce, vegetables, or grains or rice, if you want to deliver it in the future, you must state clearly how many kilograms, what grades, and so on. And then at what date the delivery will be made. Okay, and then permissibility, the item can be possessed. Okay, and the third essential element is the contracting parties that legally capable and competent. Ability to acquire rights and exercise them and to accept duties and perform them. Capacity to acquire and execute. If the religion or whether the party is Muslim or not is not one of the conditions. And then termination of contract is can be made either by performance. Okay, performance already takes place, by agreement, a mutual agreement that they will terminate the contract, by impossibility of performance, which means the contract may be terminated by circumstances that render performance impossible. Okay. Or at least deviating from what has been agreed in the contract. Okay. And then breach of contract, expiration of the contract period, or death of the contracting party. Okay. And then we go to the first types of contract, which is exchange-based contract, uqud al-muawadat. Okay, it refers to a bilateral contract that involve considerations of counter value from two or more parties. It involves the transfer of ownership of asset or usufruct in consideration of any counter value. The counter value could be money, goods, services, or any other form of agreed counter value. Okay. Ada exchange of asset or benefit, okay, between two or more parties. We go to one under exchange base. There are by al-murabaha, al-istisna, al-salam, al-dain, al-saf, al-inah, al-tawaru, and ijarah. The one that we are going to cover, one of it is murabaha. So murabaha is under exchange-based contract. So murabaha is sales of good at cost plus markup, where the purchaser should be informed of his cost of purchase and the profit amount. Okay. So when two parties enter into murabaha contract, they mesti inform the other party how much is the cost and profit. Contoh, saya jual buku, biasanya taklah kalau jual buku dia tak enter into murabahah contract. Tapi katakanlah saya jual buku murabahah contract, kalau dia sebut dia nak jual buku di bawah murabahah contract, so they must inform the cost of this book is RM80 but I will sell to you 120. Mesti kena inform cost. Kalau jualan yang macam di kedai runcit dan sebagainya tu, itu namanya I tak recall, tapi dia tidak di bawah murabahah lah. Apa ya? I tak boleh nak recall sekarang. Okay. Tapi kalau under murabahah, mesti kena inform cost and profit. Where the customer who wishes to purchase certain goods or asset requests the bank to purchase the item and sell them to him at a cost plus a declared profit. Example, buy a mu'ajjal or buy bitamat ajir, where the seller allow the buyer to pay the price of a commodity as a future date in lump sum or installment. And let's look at the example later. The principles of murabahah, Islamic bank must hold and own the property. Yeah? For those who want to sell something, they must own the thing first, the property first. If you want to sell a car, you must own the car first. You cannot sell cars that you do not own. Okay. Islamic bank should give option to the customer whether to buy or refuse upon seeing the goods. Islamic bank should bear the risk in the trade, should not take deposit in advance, cost must be made known, a profit must be specified, a cost price is quantifiable and substitutable, must not involve any ribawi item, okay? And the vendor must have bought the item using a valid sale and purchase contract, okay? Types of asset that can be transact in murabahah is permissible, valuable, identifiable, deliverable, exist and owned by seller. For example, crude palm oil, car, house, patent, trademark, copyright. Okay. Asset that is not qualified for murabah is under construction. For example, a house which is still not yet finished manufactured. So for that kind of property, they can use other syariah contract, for example, istisna. Okay. The example of murabahah based product include Islamic accepted bill, trust receipt, cash lines, sukuk, term financing, revolving credit. Macam yang I mentioned in the project tu, is you pilih berdasarkan produk kan. Sama ada produk, I can't remember, personal financing kan. So you pilih personal financing, satu group akan pilih satu dia tak akan sama between groups kan. Betul tak? You plan macam tu You dah pilih ke?
Dah.
So jangan dua group pilih produk yang sama lah. Okay. So this is the example of murabahah based product. This is the generic murabahah transaction. Here, for example, it is a car, car financing. Yeah. So bank purchase the goods, customer will act as bank agent. Okay. So now what happened is that customer dia nak beli kereta, customer pergi ke bank untuk apply for vehicle financing. So bank will purchase the vehicle, and customer will act as the bank's agent. So customer akan pilih kereta mana yang nak, so dia akan beli kereta tersebut on behalf of the bank. So the car is owned by the bank. And then the bank will sell the car to the customer. And the customer, the bank will pay to the trader, to the dealer. And then the customer will make a payment to the bank by installment. Okay. Recognition and measurement. The murabahah contract including murabah to the purchase orderer, tawarruk and buy bitamat ajil may be regarded as a trading agreement or one of financing. If the murabahat contract is considered as trading agreement, the relevant standard inventory and revenue recognition. If it is treated as financing, it will be recorded under MFRS 9 financial instrument. Okay. Accordingly, what is the most important for Islamic bank to establish the substance of the murabah contract to decide on the relevant standard to adopt? Macam you tengok tadi, bank ada jual, ada beli kereta. Okay. Kalau dia dikira sebagai trading, that will be recorded under MFRS 102 or MFRS 15. Tapi kalau dia being treated as financing, vehicle financing, dia akan direcord sebagai financial instrument. Okay. The measurement is based on fair value plus or minus transaction cost. Subsequent measurement of this financial asset should be measured at amortized cost using the effective profit rate method. And regarding disclosure, okay, the profit earned during the period will be part of income derived from financing line item. Any loss will be part of the impairment loss on financing line item. In a statement of financial position, part of the financing and advance line item under assets. Okay, later in your second assignment, we will look at the disclosure further. Okay. What is buy bitaman ajil? Buy bitaman ajil is a contract deferred payment. Okay. Sale of goods on deferred payment basis at an agreed selling price, which include a profit margin agreed by both parties. In the context of Malaysia, BBA is actually structured under concept of buy al-inah. This is example of buy al-inah under for house financing. Okay. What happened is that a customer purchased a house. Okay. Normally, customer is required to pay 10% of the price. Upon executions of the selling and purchase, the ownership is transferred to the customer. Okay, ini buy al-inah. Customer beli rumah. When they purchase a house, they will pay 10% deposit. So rumah tu dikira sebagai milik customer. And then the customer pergi ke bank that apply for financing for the remaining 90%. Okay. So how it happen? Bank beli rumah daripada customer. Okay. And then the bank will purchase the house from customer on a cash basis. Okay. And then now the house is owned by the bank. Okay. And then duit tu dia akan bayarlah kepada developer. So settle dengan developer. Rumah itu menjadi milik bank. And then bank subsequently sell the house to customer. The ownership is now transferred to the customer. Payment to the bank is made on deferred as stipulated in the asset sale agreement. And the customer will pay installment. Any question on this? Kalau conventional bank, bila dia nak pinjam duit untuk beli rumah, dia pinjam duit untuk beli rumah. Tapi kalau conventional bank, there is a sales and purchase transactions happen. Is it clear on this?
Clear, madam.
Okay. Yang lain, yang selain daripada tu, 50 orang yang lain?
Clear, madam.
Okay, so now we move on to the next one. Murabahah to purchase orderer refers to an agreement whereby the purchase orderer promise to purchase an identified and specified asset from a seller on murabahah terms upon the latest acquisitions of the asset. The wa'ad to purchase the asset shall be binding on the purchase orderer when the seller has taken an action to acquire the asset. The wa'ad shall be executed separately from and before entering into the murabahah contract. Dia macam ni. Okay. Contoh macam ni tadi. Kalau when the bank purchased a car, before entering into the murabahah contract, the bank must promise to sell the car to the customer, and the customer promise to purchase the car. Okay, kalau tak ada wa'ad, kalau tidak ada promise, the bank katakan bila bank tu dah beli kereta, customer tengok dia rasa dia tak naklah ambil kereta tersebut sebab here Islamic bank should give option to the customer whether to buy or refuse upon seeing the goods. Katakan bila bank dah beli, dia kata dia tak nak, belilah daripada bank. So end up the bank will end up with the car. Okay, that's why it means there is a risk occur if the customer do not want to purchase the car. That's why there is a need to have promise, wa'ad. Okay, where the bank promise to sell the car to the customer, and the customer promise to purchase the car from the bank. Okay. This is the differences between murabahah purchase orderer and buy bitama ajil. Okay, you can take a look later. Buy al-inah refer to an arrangement that involves sale of an asset to the purchaser on a deferred basis and subsequent purchase of the asset at a cash price lower than the deferred price or vice versa, and that complies with the specific requirement of buy al-inah. Each sale contract in buy-inah arrangement is binding in nature. Thus, neither of the sale contract shall be terminated unilaterally by any of the contracting party. The inherent nature of each sales contract in buy-inah arrangement is the transfer of ownership of the asset from the seller to the purchaser in two separate independent contracts. Okay. The example of buy-inah include personal financing. Maybe the Middle Eastern country do not accept the use of buy-inah. Kalau macam you tengok tadi, customer beli, customer jual kepada bank, bank jual balik kepada customer. So they do not agree with that kind of transaction. But I think in Malaysia, there's still bank that use buy-inah. Nanti kalau you do the group project, maybe you can find Islamic banking that use buy-inah. Maybe for personal financing, yeah, for group that choose to do personal financing. So how actually personal financing of buy-inah? Banks sell asset at a price equivalent to the financing amount, amount plus profit margin. Customer makes a periodic amount in monthly installment over a specified period of time. Second, bank purchase the same asset at a price equivalent to financing amount. Bank makes a payment. Okay. A bank jual asset at a price equivalent to the financing amount. Let's say dia nak pinjam 20,000. Okay. So bank jual aset dan bayar kepada dan sell asset at a price. Okay. 20,000. Customer makes periodic 25,000. Okay. Bank purchase the same asset at the price equivalent to the financing amount. Bank make a disbursement 20,000. So sekarang ni kita nampak customer dapat duit 20,000 dan customer bayar kepada bank 25,000. Kalau conventional bank, customer akan pinjam duit daripada conventional bank, dia akan bayar interest. Tapi untuk by al-inah, ada sales and purchase happen. Okay, but you can see that customer get 20,000 and pay 25,000 to the bank. Tawarruk. Tawarruk consists of two contracts of sales and purchase, where the first involves the sale of an asset to a purchaser on a deferred basis, and the subsequent sale involves the sale of asset to the third party on the cash basis. Each sale and purchase contract in tawarruk is binding in nature. Okay. Therefore, sales and purchase contract shall not be terminated unilaterally. Okay, let's look at here tawarruk in personal financing. So tawarruk, I can say is the famous, now I can say it's a famous syariah contract used by Islamic banking. Tawarruk is used in house financing, tawarruk is used in personal financing, tawarruk is used in sukuk. Okay, so what happened here? Bank purchase from commodity supplier equivalent to financing amount on the spot basis payment. Okay, bank beli daripada commodity seller. Bank bayar 20,000 and then bank get the commodity. And then the commodity is owned by the bank. Sekarang ni bank purchase from commodity seller at the price of 20,000. So the commodity owned by the bank. And then the bank, as they already own that commodity, they can sell it to the customer. So they sell it to the customer, cost plus profit, 25,000. And then the commodity is owned by the bank. Okay. By the customer. Okay. Under the wakalah contract, the customer appoint the bank as his agent to sell commodity on the spot basis to a third party. Okay, so commodity tu sekarang ni customer dah own commodity pada nilai 25,000 tu. Okay, dan customer appoint bank untuk jual commodity tersebut kepada third party 20,000. So customer dapat 20,000. Okay. And then the bank sell the commodity to the commodity buyer at the price equivalent to 20,000. Okay, tapi bank tadi, customer dia beli daripada bank dengan harga 25,000. So, kita akan nampak customer dapat 20,000, bayar 25,000. Dapat 20,000, bayar 25,000. Is it clear?
Yes.
Ada yang tak jelas tak?
Clear.
Okay. Example tawarruk, personal financing, macam saya sebut tadi lah, sukuk, credit card, property, term dan sebagainya. Recognition, yes.
Kira rugi ke customer dia beli 25,000 jual 20,000?
Okay, dia sebab dia sekarang ni bank beli 20,000, dia memanglah sebab dia pinjam duit. Dia pinjam duit lah, personal financing. Memang dia kena bayar lebih kepada orang. Nak kita pinjam 20,000, kita bayar orang 25,000. Memanglah rugi. Kalau tak nak rugi, kita jangan pinjam duit. Faham tak? Sekarang ni tawarruk digunakan untuk personal financing. Okay. Saya faham soalannya itulah. Tapi dia nak dapatkan 20,000 ini on the spot basis. The customer get 20,000 ni on the spot basis. Tapi 25,000 ni dia bayar deferred basis. Dia bayar installment. Okay. Okay. Asset recognition, kalau IFI has a contractual right to receive cash, dia akan dikira sebagai receivable is a financial asset. Yeah. Liability, when IFI sells the commodity to the second trade on a spot basis as agent to customer. If the customer maintain the cash proceeds with the IFI on WDR basis, the balance will be financial liability. Measurement, fair value plus transaction cost lah. Subsequent measurement is at amortized cost using effective profit rate method. Disclosure, profit will be part of income derived from financing line. Statement of financial position, part of financing and advances line under assets. Okay. And then wadi'ah. Wadi'ah means custody or safekeeping. The bank guarantee the safety of the item kept by it. Bank is deemed as a keeper and trustee of fund. A person deposit fund in the bank and the bank guarantee fund refund of the entire amount of the deposit or any part of the outstanding amount when the depositor demands it. Two types, wadi'ah yad amanah and wadi'ah yad damanah. Okay, before this, in previous years, current account, saving account, mostly use wadi'ah. Where customer put money in the bank, bank akan simpan sebagai custody. Okay, safekeeping. In any time when the customer wants to withdraw money, the bank must be made available to them. There are two types of wadi'ah, wadi'ah amanah and wadi'ah yad damanah. The first one, wadi'ah yad amanah, the bank is not allowed to use the benefit from deposited item. Duit yang kita masukkan ke dalam bank, bank tak boleh guna untuk investment dan sebagainya lah. And then are not liable for any damage or loss of deposited item unless due to negligence or misconduct. The second type is wadi'ah yad damanah. The bank allowed to use benefit or the benefit from deposited item. Custodian is liable for any damage or loss of deposited item. Custodian has exclusive right over benefit or profit gain from deposited item. Okay. Now, I think most Islamic banking use card as syariah contract for saving accounts. Okay. Dia tak menggunakan lagi dah wadi'ah. Kalau you ada buka account di bank Islam, cuba you check you punya account tersebut, account simpanan you tu menggunakan syariah kontrak apa. Okay, you boleh check lah sepatutnya. Okay. Istisna. Istisna means to request someone to manufacture an asset. Technically, it is a contractual agreement with the manufacturer to produce items with a specified description of at a determined price and manufactured from his own material with his own effort. The object must be manufactured, the object to be manufactured must be precisely determined, its type, kind, quality and quantity. The object must be something that people are familiar. Okay. There are two types of istisna, classical istisna and parallel istisna. Classical involve two contracting party. Okay. Customer requests manufacturer to construct a specified asset. Customer pays the agreed price, manufacturer delivers the completed asset. Macam katakan I nak renovate dapur, katakan I cakap kepada kontraktor tu, let's enter into classical istisna. Okay. So I am the customer, mustasni, and the contractor is the asani. So I pun request to design to manufacture the kitchen with specific characteristic, and then we mutually agree on the price, and then the contractor finish do the renovation, and then it is done. Parallel istisna is two separate istisna, ada dua. For example here, a customer wants to purchase a property and seeks financing from the bank. In order to facilitate the financing of the customer, bank enter into an istisna product with the customer. 50,000 payable in 35 years. So customer and bank enter into the first istisna, 500,000. And the bank enter into another istisna with contractor. Okay. Tapi dia enter 400,000 lah dengan contractor tu. So bila contractor tu dah siap, dia deliver kepada bank. Bank akan deliver kepada customer. So bank bayar contractor 400,000. Customer bayar bank 500,000. The bank untunglah 100,000. So upon completion, the developer deliver to the bank and the bank deliver to customer. This is on istisna. Okay. So the example of istisna based product include home financing, project financing, sukuk. Dia masih lagi belum siap ya in manufacture. The applicable sebab dia adalah financing, so dia dikira sebagai MFRS 9 financial instrument. Okay. And the MFRS 7 stipulates that information on the significance of financial instruments shall be disclosed, as well as information of the nature and extent of risk arising from such financial instrument, such as credit risk, liquidity risk, market risk, and so on. Disclosure shall comply with the guidelines on financial reporting for Islamic banking institution issued by Bank Negara Malaysia. So you can look at the guidelines, you can download this online. So tengok sama ada comply, memang comply lah, tapi look at the additional notes to the account with regards to the istisna and so on. Kalau dia ada financing, tengok ada tak dia beritahu financing tu menggunakan syariah kontrak apa. Okay. So I think we stop up till istisna. I will continue with salam insyaAllah on Monday. Any question?